Gordon, who'll be the hardest man to beat tonight?
It's going to be Kenny round there, isn't it? Definitely.
What? They'll all be hard, I think, yeah. Everyone.
Excuse me, Steve, who'll be the hardest man to beat tonight?
Oh, that's a difficult question. You've got a lot of good riders here tonight. You've got pretty much the top, well, all the best riders in the north of the country. So there's going to be no easy races. They're all you're out with at least 2 heat leaders each race. So I'm not going to name names.
I think Kenny's got to be the man round here, hasn't he?
The hardest man to beat tonight?
Them all.
Hardest man to beat tonight?
Well, I think every team's got at least one hard man in their team. Obviously Mark Courtney, Mark Fiora, Les Collins, they're going to be the 3 big guns.
All of them. They're always the difficult matches, the fours. So you've got the 4 top guys from each team. So every race is difficult. You can't sort of pick out one guy and say he's going to be hard to beat. Everybody will be.
Right.
Well, I don't know. We've got a few points up. Last leg, anything can happen. I think it'll be very close at the end. Very close. But we just hope we can get through this one.
I think any of the other lads that are riding, really. It's going to be a hard meeting today. The main thing is that Edinburgh get the points and qualify for the final. That's the main thing I'm here for today, anyway.
And in your opinion, Jeff, who do you think?
Nearly all of them will be hard to beat. They're all good rides, unless they wouldn't be here. So anybody's going to be good. It's hard to say.
You've been doing live on, I'm not too sure.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Shawfield Stadium, Glasgow for the 4th leg of the National Fours Northern section, and there's tonight's competitors with the scores very evenly balanced. There's the man who will be deciding which 2 sides go forward to the final at Peterborough on the 7th of August. Here making a special entrance is the top 261 Tiger, Kenny McKenna, the #1 Scottish rider, and he's making a special entrance because he's been presented with that magnificent van there by Peoples, the Ford people, just stopping behind the pillar. A magnificent gesture by Peoples and a marvellous, useful sponsorship for Kenny McKenna, the top Scottish rider. And here's a section of the crowd who've come to see this 4th leg of the fours, eager for the action to get underway and just wondering which 2 teams are going to go through. Another big crowd at Shawfield Stadium. Parade at Middlesbrough at the end here. That's Ashley Norton, Peter McNamara, Martin Dixon, Daz Sumner, who rides for the National League on Friday at Powder Hall, Mark Fiora, the Australian star of the Middlesbrough side. Next to him for Edinburgh, they're the next team in line, that's Rob Woffenden, their new signing from Berwick. Scott Lamb on a new GM engine. Next to him, the Monarchs captain Brett Saunders. Further up the line, it's Jamie Luckhurst, the big signing this season for Edinburgh. Then Les Collins, the Edinburgh #1. Next in line, it's Berwick, and that's Steve McDermott. They're looking pretty serious. Next to Steve, chatting there, Mark Courtney and Charlie McKenna. Mark Courtney, the top bandit this season. And further up the line, Rob Grant, and in a new set of white leathers, it's Sean Courtney. And further up the line, it's the home side, just hiding behind the pillar there, the 261 Tigers. I can see Phil Jeffrey and Kenny McKenna, and on the other side of the pillar, Steve Lawson and Gordon Whittaker. And I think there's another Tiger hidden in there somewhere, David Blackburn. So that's the riders on parade, and the action will start in a moment. Opening heat, and that's Edinburgh's young Scott Lamb on the inside in red. Next to him in blue for Berwick Bandits is Mark Courtney, and gate 3 for the 261 Tigers, Steve Lawson, and the man on the outside just asking where the green light is, that's Daz Sumner of Middlesbrough. And with just 12 points separating the sides, they'll all be keen to get off to a good start. Hitting the front, with Lamb just behind them. Courtney leads down the back straight. Lawson second and Lamb third. Mark Courtney in tremendous form for Berwick, and Berwick needs an excellent performance from him and the others. They're only on 66 points and trail in fourth place at the moment. Daz Sumner pressing Scott Lamb for third place at the back. Scott Lamb on his new GM, just feeling his way, and Sumner's dropped a bit back there. Sumner again, though, making up ground on that first and second corner. Lamb just holding him off. That's where the race is. It's close for third. Middlesbrough lead the competition, but they can't afford to have too many last places. Middlesbrough on 78 before this meeting started, leading by 5 from Edinburgh. But that's a big win for Mark Courtney, comfortably in front. Steve Lawson second, and we're just not picking up third there, but it was obviously Scott Lamb who finished third. So that's the way the first heat finishes, and Middlesbrough stay on 78, Edinburgh move on to 74, Glasgow have 72, and Berwick move up to 69. 9 points separate the four sides. And now we're looking at the brothers McKenna. Charlie of Berwick on the inside, Kenny, the 261 Tiger in gate 2, and definitely the master of Shawfield so far this season. Hot opposition here though, especially from Mark Fiora there in gate 3 in white. And Edinburgh's captain Brett Saunders is on gate 4. McKenna first to the bend. Brett Saunders forced very wide, and Brett Saunders came down on that first corner, and he looks very unhappy there. Got a bit of a knock going into that first corner, so this race will be stopped. And we hope Brett's okay. That would be a terrible blow to the Edinburgh side if Brett wasn't fit to continue. As the restart, Brett Saunders unfortunately excluded. Brett did walk off after lying on the track for some time, and he seems to have an arm injury. So in the rerun we've got Charlie McKenna, Kenny McKenna and Mark Fiora. And Charlie McKenna gates, and Mark Fiora a good start also from gate 3. Kenny McKenna cuts back, but he's back in third place. Tried to cut back on the inside on that first corner, but brother Charlie blocked him, so Mark Fiora's the man leading. And Charlie McKenna, I'm sure, will be determined to beat his brother, but he's left a gap there, just closes it. Kenny McKenna doesn't drop many points round here. Right on Charlie's tail. Inside again, and he's holding a tighter line, but not just quite squeezing through. Charlie just got the speed coming out the bends. Once again, Kenny McKenna clinging to the inside. That's the passing line here at Shawfield. Taking a wider turn that time, but still in third place. Mark Fiora takes it, and Charlie McKenna holds off Kenny. They'll be delighted about that. So Middlesbrough extend their lead. They move on to 81. Edinburgh still on 74. Glasgow move on to 73, and Berwick are creeping up there on 71. It's very close. Gate 3, and that's Phil Jeffrey, the 261 Tiger, on the inside, having a great season. Next to him, Les Collins for the Middlesbrough Monarchs. Gate 3, Rob Grant for Berwick. And the man on the outside, Martin Dixon, recently back from that badly broken arm. And Dixon though, cleverly round the outside, and Les Collins sneaking through on the inside line into the second place. Rob Grant's at the back, and Dixon, excellent first corner, gave him a big lead there. Les Collins tearing after him. And Martin Dixon, not quite back to his old form after his arm injury, changed his style slightly, rides with a raised right elbow now, and Les Collins is closing in for a challenge. Diving hard into these bends, Les Collins, looking for grip. Phil Jeffries in third place, and 1 lap to go. Can Collins catch Dixon? Doesn't look like it at the moment. He's not far away on the final bend, but not really a challenge. Dixon wins it and extends Middlesbrough's lead. Les Collins second and Phil Jeffrey third. And there's Berwick's testimonial man, Steve McDermott, on the inside gate. Next to him, it's the 261 Tiger, David Blackburn, having machine troubles before the meeting. Gate 3, trying to maintain Middlesbrough's excellent performance so far, Peter McNamara. And on the outside for the Novaphone Monarchs, it's Jamie Luckhurst. Jamie Luckhurst quickly around the outside, and he goes to the front. Tremendous first corner by Luckhurst. Steve McDermott's in second place, and Peter McNamara third, with the Tigers' David Blackburn at the back. And David, normally a fast starter, and McNamara slips past Steve McDermott there. McDermott coming back at him up the inside, but McNamara hanging on, and Middlesbrough doing very well so far, although McNamara in trouble there. And McDermott goes past him again. McNamara driving hard down the straight, and he's through again into second. Tremendous battle between these two. A very brave rider, Peter McNamara, and I think he's settled into second place now. In fact, Steve McDermott coming under pressure from David Blackburn. Blackburn fighting for drive out that corner, trying to get third place from McDermott. Jamie Luckhurst wins, and who's going to get third? It's Blackburn. Blackburn took third on the line, so a bad heat for the Bandits. And Edinburgh move on with that win from Jamie Luckhurst to 79. Middlesbrough on 86. Berwick stick on 71, and the 261 Tigers move on to 75 with that brave ride by David Blackburn. Middlesbrough 7 points clear of Edinburgh, and that man Les Collins is going to try and close that gap for Edinburgh. He's on the inside. Gate 2, it's Peter McNamara for Middlesbrough. Gate 3, it's Charlie McKenna. An impressive first ride for Berwick, and on the outside it's Steve Lawson for Glasgow. And it's the outside man Steve Lawson making the best start, with Les Collins just inside him. Lawson goes to the front. Collins second, Charlie McKenna third, and Peter McNamara at the back. And Charlie McKenna challenging Les Collins for second. Still tight up front. Les Collins not so far away from Steve Lawson. But Lawson's got the drive there, I think. To the final lap. Collins going wider, looking for grip. Tremendous effort by Collins. Close going into the final bend. Collins will go wide again, I think. Trying to cut back now onto the inside. Who's going to make it? Lawson wins. Collins second. A brave ride indeed. A tremendous ride. A great effort from the back for Les Collins. And no points for Middlesbrough there. They retain their lead with 86. Edinburgh move on to 81. Glasgow are on 78 and Berwick are on 72. Heat 6, and that's Kenny McKenna on the inside. And remarkably, he's the only rider in this race who didn't win his opening race. There's Jamie Luckhurst for Edinburgh in gate 2. In gate 3, it's Martin Dixon for Middlesbrough, and the man on the outside, the winner of the opening race, Mark Courtney for Berwick. So this should be an absolute cracker. And don't be too surprised if Kenny McKenna opens his race win account here. Very tough opposition though. And the score's very close on tonight. 3 teams on 8, and Berwick behind on 6. The inside, pressed by Luckhurst and Courtney. Courtney goes into second place, and Jamie Luckhurst third. Martin Dixon pressing Luckhurst at the back, and he's through. Up front though, Mark Courtney's not giving up the chase on Kenny McKenna. Courtney having a tremendous season. McKenna pulling away now. So Tigers got their first race win in Heat 5, and they look pretty well set to get another one here in Heat 6. It's a big win in the end for Scotland's number 1, Kenny McKenna, to a tremendous roar from the crowd. Mark Courtney second, and Martin Dixon third, in a disappointing ride by Jamie Luckhurst, who let himself get pushed out of third place there. So Middlesbrough move on to 87, Glasgow have 81, Edinburgh have 81, and Berwick have 74. Fiora on the inside, looking to preserve Middlesbrough's lead, and they're doing very well so far. Scott Lamb for Edinburgh in gate 2, Steve McDermott for Berwick in gate 3, and Phil Jeffrey on the outside for Glasgow. Can he be the third successive Glasgow race winner? Gate. Scott Lamb trying to slot inside him, and he's into second place, and it's McDermott, I think, just getting clear of Phil Jeffrey at the back. Phil Jeffrey now forcing into third place past Steve McDermott, and McDermott having a rough time so far. Scott Lamb it is setting out after Mark Fiora. Was number 1, the Australian Fiora. He won his first race, and he's looking impressive again. McDermott's not given up at the back. But Fiora's sailing clear, no problems at all for him. Scott Lamb looking quite impressive on his new GM in second place. It's a big win for Mark Fiora, wheeling over the line. Scott Lamb, half a wheelie in second place, and Phil Jeffrey third. So Middlesbrough move further ahead. Oh, very tight, and that's Rob Woffenden coming in on the inside to replace the injured Brett Saunders. He's got an arm injury. Rob won the reserves race. That's Daz Sumner in gate 2 for Middlesbrough, David Blackburn gate 3 for Glasgow, and Rob Grant on the outside for Berwick. It's one of the weaker races, but these races are equally important, of course. The points count just the same. And it's a good gate off the inside by Rob Woffenden, who was impressive in the reserves race. David Blackburn trying to come round him, and has he done it? It's very close going into that third corner, but Woffenden hangs on. Hard in there, swings wide. Woffenden leads after one lap. Sumner forcing his way through on the inside past Blackburn. Blackburn fights back, tremendous stuff. Woffenden thought I'd stopped there, in fact, but he's kept it going, but he's been taken by both Sumner and Blackburn. Woffenden swings back on the inside, but he's back to third. Sumner's pulled out a big lead. Don't quite know what happened to Woffenden there. Now he's pressing Blackburn again for second. Big win for Daz Sumner. David Blackburn second and Rob Woffenden third. So another good one for Middlesbrough, and they're halfway to Peterborough already. Nine, and that's Sean Courtney. He's a replacement for Berwick in this one. He takes the place of Rob Grant, who's not going so well. Gate 2, it's Steve Lawson with 5 points so far. Gate 3, it's Jamie Luckhurst. Good winner first time out. And on the outside, Mark Fiora, unbeaten on 6 points. Middlesbrough still well clear, and it's between Glasgow and Edinburgh, I think, for the second spot. And it's Steve Lawson who's gated best there. But Mark Fiora challenging him on the outside. Sean Courtney in third place, and Jamie Luckhurst at the back again for Edinburgh. Fiora swings wide there, and Lawson goes back in front. Fiora's close, but now that Lawson's got his nose in front, he'll take some stopping. Here's Fiora challenging on the inside. Lawson just pulling slightly clear, but he swings wide, and that's dangerous. Mark Fiora comes up inside him and he's through. Oh, Fiora's form's tremendous at the moment, but oh, he's fallen off. And Steve Lawson laid down brilliantly there. There's the riders just... Lawson just being congratulated by Fiora for laying down so well there. That could have been a nasty incident with a less capable rider behind him. So I think the positions will be awarded there, and Mark Fiora, unluckily, will get no points. Heat 10, and Sean Courtney with second place in the last race comes in again to replace Steve McDermott this time. That's Daz Sumner from Middlesbrough on the inside. That's Sean Courtney in gate 2. Les Collins in gate 3 for Edinburgh, and Kenny McKenna on the outside. So a tough race in prospect here. And it's McKenna and Sumner at the front. McKenna leads, Sumner second, and Les Collins coming through to third. Sean Courtney at the back. Daz Sumner using his speed to try and make up ground on Kenny McKenna. Daz always has fast machinery, but Kenny McKenna still with a comfortable lead. Les Collins trying to make up ground from third, and Les hasn't won a race yet. And he's not making much impression here either. It's another big win for the top Scot, Kenny McKenna. Roars home, tremendous stuff. Daz Sumner second, Les Collins third, and Middlesbrough still leading, but the Glasgow Tigers starting to close in on them and shake off Edinburgh for that vital second place. Trailing a bit, but that man Mark Courtney, he's been very impressive with 5 points from his first two rides. He might make up some of the deficit for them. Gate 2, it's Rob Woffenden, Edinburgh Reserve again, coming in for Brett Saunders. Phil Jeffries in Gate 3 for Glasgow, and Peter McNamara on the outside for Middlesbrough. And at the moment, Middlesbrough 5 points clear of Glasgow, who in turn are 4 points clear of Edinburgh. So the position's just starting to look a bit more definite for Peterborough. Courtney gates, and it's close for second. Rob Woffenden inside, but Peter McNamara coming through on the outside into second place. And it's the Tiger Phil Jeffrey at the back, but Phil always fights. Close for second. McNamara just has the drive coming out the bend. Fairly strung out now. One lap to go, and Mark Courtney in tremendous form. What a great style he's got. Leading by a mile. Absolutely flying. This is bound to be a fast time. Superb stuff. No problems at all for Mark Courtney. A brilliant victory for Berwick. Peter McNamara takes second and Rob Woffenden third. So Middlesbrough still lead, and they extend their lead by 2 points over Glasgow. Five heats to go, and Middlesbrough leading on 97 with Glasgow on 90, Edinburgh 87, Berwick 79. That's Martin Dixon on the inside for Middlesbrough, Charlie McKenna gate 2 for Berwick, Scott Lamb for Edinburgh gate 3, and on the outside it's David Blackburn for Glasgow. And Middlesbrough just needing a few points to make sure of qualifying, and Glasgow looking favourites for the second place, but they've got to watch Edinburgh. A tremendous start from the outside, and he goes to the front, and Scott Lamb comes dashing through on the inside, but it's tight for the next 3 places, and it's Charlie McKenna who gets into second, Martin Dixon third, and Scott Lamb pushed to the back there. And has Martin Dixon dropped out there? Yes, he has. So that's a bit of a blow for Middlesbrough, but they should still have enough points in hand, at least to qualify. A revitalised David Blackburn. Wasn't so impressive early on, but he's flying now. Charlie McKenna striving to make up ground. But it's comfortable for David Blackburn. He's not really been in any trouble, and that's a great win for him. Tremendous stuff for the Tigers. Charlie McKenna second, Scott Lamb third. So Tigers eat a big 3 points out of Middlesbrough's overall lead. Middlesbrough on 97, Glasgow 93, Edinburgh on 88, and Berwick on 81. Then close. There's Peter McNamara on the inside for Middlesbrough. In gate 2, it's Rob Grant for Berwick, and he's on Mark Courtney's bike here. Kenny McKenna, hot favourite for this race in gate 3, and Scott Lamb for Edinburgh on the outside. And it's a great start by McNamara, but Kenny McKenna goes round him. And here comes Scott Lamb. Has he got McNamara? He has. Scott Lamb into second place. So if positions finish as they are here, Tigers will eat another 2 points into Middlesbrough's lead, but McNamara's challenging Scott Lamb for second. Two adventurous young riders giving it everything. Scott Lamb holding second after 3 laps. Kenny McKenna miles clear. The top Tigers picked up his 3rd win of the night. Tremendous stuff from Kenny McKenna. Scott Lamb's held on for a great second place, and Peter McNamara 3rd. So Middlesbrough are now on 98 points. Tigers have got up to 96. Edinburgh are on 90, And it's Berwick back on 81. That's the position with 3 races to go. Heat 14 then, and that's Steve Lawson on the inside. And he's got a chance to take Tigers to the front overall here. But he's got Martin Dixon of Middlesbrough up against him there in gate 2. Always formidable. That's Rob Woffenden replacing Brett Saunders once again in gate 3, and it's Sean Courtney, also the Berwick reserve, out on the outside replacing Steve McDermott. And a great gate by Lawson. Dixon just hanging on in second there. Sean Courtney challenged. So Tigers could cut the overall lead to 1 here, but Dixon's pressing hard on the inside. Always a great competitor from the back, Martin Dixon, and he's pressing here. Rob Woffenden's got past Sean Courtney into 3rd place. Didn't pick that up. Now Steve Lawson pulling clear of Martin Dixon. One lap to go, and it looks like a big win for Steve Lawson, who's going to finish on 11 points, barring accidents. Flying Steve Lawson. To a great roar from the crowd, takes his score to 11, and the Tigers score to 99, just 1 behind Middlesbrough with 2 races left. Rob Woffenden in 3rd place takes Edinburgh on to 91, and Berwick trail on 81. That's the position with 2 races remaining. Qualification for Peterborough is now decided. It will be Middlesbrough and Glasgow that go, but the overall winners of this leg have still to be decided. Glasgow, in fact, have won tonight's meeting, but the overall winners of the northern section still rests between Middlesbrough and Glasgow. This race is heat 15. That's Jamie Luckhurst on the inside for Edinburgh, Phil Jeffrey gate 2 for Glasgow, Daz Sumner for Middlesbrough in gate 3, and Charlie McKenna for Berwick on the outside. Luckhurst from the inside and McKenna from the outside. And I think it's McKenna going to the front as Luckhurst just lifts slightly coming out of the second corner. Luckhurst in second, Phil Jeffrey third, and Daz Sumner at the back. So that's the crucial thing as far as victory in this leg goes. But Phil Jeffrey swings very wide there and lets Daz Sumner through into 3rd place, just not getting that corner right. Phil will fight back, but Sumner's a fast man. Charlie McKenna storming clear. Jamie Luckhurst second. Daz Sumner third. Trying to make up ground on Luckhurst as the Edinburgh rider swings wide. Into the final lap. Close for second still. Oh, and Charlie McKenna stopped. So Jamie Luckhurst goes round him. Well positioned to take advantage of that. And Daz Sumner gets second. And Phil Jeffrey takes 3rd. Bad luck to Berwick there, but they're not really in the hunt for anything anyway. A win for Jamie Luckhurst puts Edinburgh on to 94, but Middlesbrough lead now on 102 points, with Glasgow on 100 with 1 race to go. It's meeting, that's Glasgow. We know who's going to Peterborough, that's Glasgow and Middlesbrough, but we still need to know who's won this leg overall, and it's between Middlesbrough and Glasgow, and they're on the 2 inside gates there. David Blackburn for Glasgow on the inside, Mark Fiora for Middlesbrough in gate 2, and there's 2 points between these 2 sides. Middlesbrough in front, Mark Courtney's in gate 3, and Les Collins on the outside for Edinburgh. So hot stuff to finish with. And if Glasgow are to win the leg overall, they're looking to David Blackburn for something special here. They've done the main job, they've got to Peterborough. But can David Blackburn do something special here? He's gated well, but Mark Fiora's alongside him, and Les Collins also going round the outside. Blackburn goes to the front. Very tight there, and Les Collins was squeezed out. Mark Fiora pressing. We've lost Mark Courtney along the line somewhere. Here comes Fiora. He's already had a great race with Steve Lawson before he fell off. And brilliant riding by Mark Fiora. What a superb overtake that was. Right through on the inside. Marvellous riding by Fiora. He leads. Blackburn second. Les Collins coming in for a challenge. So Mark Fiora's done it for Middlesbrough. He's kept them in front overall. Great win by him. David Blackburn second, Les Collins third. So the final scores in tonight's meeting: Glasgow Tigers on 32, Middlesbrough Tigers on 27, Edinburgh Monarchs on 22 and Berwick on 15. And overall it's Middlesbrough 105 points, Glasgow 102, Edinburgh 95 and Berwick 81, and it's Glasgow and Middlesbrough that go to Peterborough for the semi-finals.
The Tigers returned to Glasgow in 1988, not only with a brand new stadium and a super new track, they won back one of the brightest stars in the horizon to lead to the rebirth of the team, Scotland's undoubted national number one, Kenny McKenna. Kenny, during the close season you could have had your pick of half a dozen British League clubs, but you chose instead to return to Glasgow. With half the season now behind you, any regrets?
No, none whatsoever. When Dick Barry invited me back in the first instance, I was a bit dubious. I left under a bit of a cloud in previous years, so I gave it a lot of thought, and at this moment in time, everything that Dick Barry promised has come true and more.
Ken, you couldn't have been with a bigger name than your previous club, Bellevue. There must be some magic moments you will carry in your memory of those years.
I've got very, very many happy memories. Most of them are the riders that I've ridden with. I've ridden with a lot of the big riders, the Bruce Pennells, the Ivan Majors, the Peter Collinses and the Chris Mortons, who are will always be remembered as being the most successful speed riders ever coming from Britain. Also, the stadium itself was a fantastic stadium. It was the only ever purpose-built stadium in this country for Speedway. Unfortunately, it's gone, and part because of that, so am I.
We move to National League now, Ken. There must have, I'm sure, been a few surprises awaiting even you in the National League. What did the early part of the season bring which you might just not have expected?
Fierce opposition for one thing. Everyone said that I would step down and I would score loads of points and I would rule the roost at Glasgow and all this sort of stuff. It's not quite as easy as a lot of people thought, and certainly it's not quite as easy as I thought. You've got to work hard at it. I've always worked hard at Speedway, with it being my living. I'm working probably harder now than I ever have done for the sport that supports me, and enjoying every minute of it.
Good. Ken, as a true professional rider who has had the opportunity now to assess both leagues, let's put you in the hot spot and ask you, in the face of some unhappy attendance figures at other tracks and the constant threats of closure, and of course Milton Keynes being the most recent, what's the McKenna formula for the successful future of Speedway?
I wish I had one, actually. The most successful set-up in Speedway that I've seen, and this is the honest truth ever, is the current one at Glasgow. The way Dick Barry has put together half a dozen qualified people to do certain jobs, and they all do their own job very, very well. There's a tremendous working relationship with the media, which goes for an awful lot in any sport, and I would say it's a case of getting everyone together and everyone working well together.
Ken, at the present moment we're standing beside one of the most attractively painted vans I've seen around the circuits, presented to you of course by Peoples, the local Ford dealer just along the road from the stadium. How important is sponsorship of this nature to a rider such as yourself?
Well, sponsorship of this nature is actually very unusual, especially in National League, considering the extent of it. I've got the use of this vehicle from Peoples probably now for the next 18 months. It's a saving of thousands of pounds to me personally, and obviously the more sponsorship I can acquire, or any rider can acquire through the sport, the more money that we make at the end of the day.
Yes, and we must thank Peoples who have presented the super van. In fact, we'll step back and you can see Kenny and the van.
661 is still the best for you.
Strathclyde Police invite you to spend an evening in their company enjoying a great night's entertainment at their International Police Tattoo in the SECC Glasgow from the 8th to the 13th of August 1988. They promise you a myriad of arresting acts and performances from forces worldwide, including Stetson-wearing, gun-toting sheriffs from San Mateo County in the USA, the spectacular Strathclyde Police motorcycle display team. There's nothing like a Dane when it comes to the music of the Copenhagen Police Orchestra. A pause for applause is needed for the offbeat antics of the dogs of the West Midlands and Strathclyde forces. A colourful and exciting display will be provided by the Katak dancers from the Northwest Frontier Police Pakistan. There'll be some horsing around with a musical ride from the Strathclyde Mounted Branch, and hoping to get their man at the tattoo will be the Mounties from Canada. The driving force will be in the hands of the officers from Strathclyde's Traffic Department. Music from the valleys of Wales will be supplied by the band of the South Wales Police. Icing will be piped onto the cake by the world-famous Strathclyde Police Pipe Band, who have held the world title 8 out of the last 12 years. Tickets for this dazzling display are available at the Ticket Centre, Candle Rigs in Glasgow and main police offices throughout Strathclyde. To sample a taste of this event, why not buy a commemorative souvenir brochure, which again are available from any police office. Remember, this charity event in aid of both Save the Children and the Northern Police Convalescent Home will be in the SECC from the 8th to the 13th of August. Hurry for your tickets, it would be a crime to miss it.